Welcome back. Last time we connected Legend of Zelda to Soul Calibur to Star Wars to the Muppets to the Earth Day Special and Cartoon All-Stars, both of which featured the classic cartoon characters from the Looney Tunes. Forgive me for putting an umbrella over all of the cartoons they made, but I don't have the time to list them all, nor am I going to mention all of the anthology movies that were just a collection of old cartoons. So here's my umbrella term: the Looney Tunes cartoons, which had two movies based on them, Space Jam and Looney Tunes Back in Action, as well as three original TV shows, Tasmania, The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and Baby Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes would also appear in Tiny Toons Adventures, which spun off the Plucky Duck Show, and the film How I Spent My Vacation, as well as the Animaniacs, which had a movie, Wacko's Witch, and its spin-off Pinky and the Brain, and Pinky Elmira and the Brain. Freakazoid of Freakazoid would also make frequent cameo appearances on the Animaniacs. Batman and Robin, the animated series, would also appear in Animaniacs, and Dr. Scratch and Sniff of Animaniacs has a picture of himself shaking hands with this version of Batman, which ties in an odd little DC animated universe, including Batman the Animated Series, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Superman, The New Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, Gotham Girls, Static Shock, The Zeta Project, Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Mystery of the Batwoman, and Batman the Killing Joke. And lest we forget, Looney Tunes Back in Action was a Joe Dante film. One scene in Area 52 features a bunch of references to old sci-fi films. Among the aliens held in captivity are Ro-Man from Robot Monster, the aliens from Man from Planet X, a Trifid from Day of the Triffids, Metaluna from This Island Earth, the Brain Monster from Fiend Without a Face, and Kevin McCarthy in one of the pods from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Kevin McCarthy would briefly reprise his role from that film in the remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There's also a Dalek from Doctor Who, which had 4 spin-off shows: Torchwood, The Sarah Jane Adventures, K9, and Class. The Doctor also mentions being friend with Arthur Dent, which, according to my own rules, I should take to mean the book. But the book, the show, and that episode of Doctor Who were all written by Douglas Adams, so I'm going to go ahead and count The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy show. Then, in an episode of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the planet Gallifrey from Doctor Who gets mentioned. I couldn't make this shit up. Power Rangers and Doctor Who are in the same universe. That gives us 19 Power Rangers shows and 2 movies, although you could argue that's all one TV show since they seem to rebrand themselves every other year. I don't know. I do know that one episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crosses over with Ninja Turtles Next Generation. So there's a Turtles tie-in that doesn't involve going to another dimension. And then there's the glorious Robbie the Robot. Robbie the Robot, who's among the aliens at Area 52, originally appeared in Forbidden Planet. He would go on to make appearances as Robbie the Robot in The Invisible Boy, The Thin Man, Lost in Space, Holmes and Yo-Yo, Space Academy, which had a spin-off, Jason of Star Commando, Project UFO, Wonder Woman, The Pink Lady, Cherry 2000, and Gremlins, another Joe Dante film. It had a somewhat superior sequel, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, which referenced Vetroscope from yet another Dante movie, Inner Space. Gremlins 1 would also feature the time machine from the film The Time Machine. Robbie the Robot also appeared on The Love Boat, which had a crossover episode with Charlie's Angels and Fantasy Island. That's only counting when Robbie appeared as Robbie and not some other robot who just looked like Robbie. The last appearance of Robbie we're going to talk about is from a film called Hollywood Boulevard, another Joe Dante film which had a sequel, Hollywood Boulevard 2, but more importantly, features the bizarre case of Walter Paisley. See, Dick Miller plays a character named Walter Paisley in 4 movies, each time with a new career and being killed twice. But the whole universe is a stretch, so I'm going to go ahead and count it. So, he first appeared in Bucket of Blood, and would later appear in The Howling. There's seriously like a little Joe Dante expanded universe that he happened to work the Looney Tunes into. Thanks, Joe. The Howling would also have 7 sequels. Walter Paisley was also a janitor in Chopping Mall, the second movie I reviewed over on my main channel. That's how deep and esoteric this universe is. I actually cut his scene from my review because there's nothing to say about it. You might also recall that I mentioned Paul and Mary Bland from Eating Raoul, which I said wasn't a good movie, but I watched it and it's actually like really funny. Dick Miller would also play Officer Paisley in an episode of Rebel Highway. Guess who directed that episode? He also played a character named Walt in Night of the Creeps. So fuck it, let's count that too. And while we're skipping Mickey Mouse and Disney cartoon characters, I think now would be a good time to do a deep dive into Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which featured some of the Looney Tunes, along with Betty Boop, which spun off Popeye cartoons, which eventually became Popeye the Sailor Man and the all-new Popeye Hour, although feel free to correct me if one of those was just a collection of cartoons. Tom and Jerry from Tom and Jerry Cartoons, which would be followed by the new Tom and Jerry show, The Adventures of Tom and Jerry Tales, and the Tom and Jerry movie. That's all I'm counting. Trying to pull any coherent through line for those old cartoons is damn near impossible. There's Woody Woodpecker, Screwy Squirrel, Felix the Cat, who had a movie, Felix the Cat the Movie, and Gandy Goose, who appeared in a Mighty Mouse cartoon, tying in Mighty Mouse cartoons, The Mighty Mouse Playhouse, Mighty Mouse The New Adventures, and The New Adventures of Mighty Mouse. And finally, some Droopy Dog cartoons. Guess where Droopy Dog and Popeye would both later show up? In the show, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which was based on Birdman and was a spin-off of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, itself based on the Space Ghost cartoon, which had a spin-off, Space Stars. Space Ghost Coast to Coast would also spin off Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which also had a movie, Aqua Teen Hunger Force : movie film for theaters. It also had a crossover with C-Lab 2021, and here's a fun one for you. Carl calls into a radio station in GTA 5. This is seriously the only place I can tie in the GTA games. So, there are 7 Grand Theft Auto games in total. We also know from a few clues that Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto are pretty reasonably in the same universe, so Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Also in Red Dead Redemption, you can find the Plainview's land from the movie There Will Be Blood. That's, one of the weirder connections. So yeah, There Will Be Blood. Same universe as Gremlins 2. As far as fictional guests on Space Ghost Coast to Coast, there's Early from Squidbillies, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, who never really had his own show. It was mostly a bit on a real-life talk show. But there was TV Funhouse and the Jack and Triumph show. If you want a good fictional dog, there was an episode of Space Ghost where he interviewed Lassie, star of Lassie Come Home, Son of Lassie, Courage of Lassie, Hills of Home, The Sun Comes Up, Challenge to Lassie, The Painted Hills, Lassie, The Magic of Lassie, and The New Lassie. There was also an episode of the Lassie TV show which featured the Lone Ranger from The Lone Ranger, and The Lone Ranger, The Lost City of Gold. And here's the thing. Hanna-Barbera cartoons are connected through more crossovers than I care to shake a stick at. So here's a list of cartoons I can confirm are part of the Smash universe. Don't ask me to elaborate. The Peter Potamus Show, Moby Dick and the Mighty Mightor, The Flintstones, A Man Called Flintstone, The Yogi Bear Show, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels, The Huckleberry Hound Show, The Magilla Gorilla Show, Quick Draw McGraw, Wacky Races, Dastardly and Muttley and Their Flying Machines, The Perils of Penelope Pitstop, The Adam Ant Show, The Secret Squirrel Show, Top Cat, Rough and Ready Show, Chattanooga Cats, The Banana Splits Adventure Hour, Help, It's the Hair Bear Bunch, Hong Kong Phooey, Jabberjaw, The Jetsons Movie, Johnny Quest, Super Friends, The All-New Super Friends Hour, Super Friends, Inch High Private Eye, Godzilla, The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, The Hercules, Devlin, Speed Buggy, The Funky Phantom, Hokey Wolf, Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, CB Bears, The Mumbly Cartoon Show, The Impossibles, The Quickie Koala Show, Galtar and the Golden Lance, The Grape Ape Show, Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy, The Hillbilly Bears, Shazan, Loop-de-Loop, Thundar the Barbarian, Speed Racer, which isn't even Hanna-Barbera but was in Birdman. And let's not forget Scooby-Doo Where Are You?, the new Scooby-Doo movies, The Richie Rich Scooby-Doo Show, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo Show, Scooby-Doo Mysteries, The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, What's New Scooby-Doo, and Dino Mutt Dog Wonder. The new Scooby-Doo movies would feature appearances from the Addams Family, Josie and the Pussycats, which had a sequel show, Josie and the Pussycats in Space, and Genie. Mystery Inc. Gang and the Blue Falcon would later appear on some Cartoon Network shows, including Batman, the Brave and the Bold, Johnny Bravo, and Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter and Johnny would go on to appear in the game Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion, which features characters from the Powerpuff Girls, who had a movie, Codename Kids Next Door, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which spun off Evil Concarne, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Ben 10, which was followed by Ben 10 Alien Force, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, and Ben 10 Omniverse, Chowder, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and Captain Planet and the Planeteers, and Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack featured an appearance from old kung fu pair Lone Wolf and Cub. It's a silent cameo and more of a joke than anything, but I'm counting that, meaning the 6 Lone Wolf movies are now in the Smash universe. A much more reasonable cameo is the dogs from Two Stupid Dogs. There's also 2 Cartoon Network racing games, Cartoon Network Speedway and Cartoon Network Racing, which help tie in 4 more shows, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, Ed, Ed and Eddie, and Sheep in the Big City. Then there's a Steven Universe Uncle Grandpa crossover, throw those 2 up for me, will ya? Where Uncle Grandpa has a list of people he intends to help, among them Dexter, Johnny Bravo, etc., as well as characters from Adventure Time, Clarence, The Life and Times of Juniper Lee, and SWAT Cats. And that's where I'm gonna stop. 3 different versions of Batman and Wonder Woman, the Joe Dante universe, and a whole lot of Cartoon Network. And yet, Looney Tunes is not the deepest hole I can dig from Cartoon All-Stars. No. Next time, an alien named Alf is introducing us to a boy named Tommy Westfall. Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.